5 things I finally understand about the law of attraction that completely transformed my reality. Hi, I'm Alyssa, and I remind you that this timeline is optional. I've been studying the law of attraction since The Secret came out, which is like 20 years. And these 5 things I have just finally understood. Now, the law of attraction is not complex in how it is explained. When you hear it, it sounds really easy. You create your own reality, you attract to you what you are being, what thoughts you're thinking, what emotions you're feeling. However, being a human that did not grow up with this knowledge, the law of attraction can be really sticky. And these are 5 things that I finally understand that in the last 2 months have completely shifted my reality. Number one, the universe doesn't care where you've been. It does not care about your past. It doesn't care about what you've done before. It doesn't care about what your past thoughts were, besides the fact that they are creating your now reality. It only cares about 2 things: where you are going and where you are vibrationally in proximity to where you are going. What does this mean? The law of attraction states that we attract what we are vibrating, what frequency we're emanating, who we are being on a vibrational level. This has to do with thoughts, feelings, and aligned actions. So, the law of attraction is like a GPS system. You decide, you have a desire for something, you decide where you are going, and then you need to get into alignment with it. We are usually not in alignment with our desires, they are outside of us, and it is up to us to get into vibrational alignment with them to experience them in our lives. Now, I also describe this mostly in my videos in terms of quantum leaping, because to me, desire is a parallel universe where you are living, where there's another version of you living that life, and it's the same process. You need to get in vibrational alignment with that version of you. But just speaking in terms of manifestation, so you decide what you want. You are not at the vibrational frequency of what you want, otherwise, you would be living that life. It is your job to shift your frequency, your beliefs, and your feelings to match the life that you are trying to create, to match the thing that you are manifesting. You cannot create beyond your belief systems. So you cannot manifest something that you don't believe you can, even though it is absolutely available to you. It doesn't matter what you've done in the past, it doesn't matter who you have been. It is now about deciding who you are choosing to be and getting in vibrational alignment with what you most want to manifest. Focus on where you are going and do everything you can to feel like you already have it, to believe that you can have it, to act like you can have it, to vibrate at the frequency of that thing that you are trying to attract. Number 2, you can't leap up the emotional scale overnight. The emotional scale is something I took from Abraham Hicks when they are talking about the law of attraction. So basically, it's like the vibrational scale. Like in number 1, how I said you need to get in vibrational alignment with the thing you're trying to manifest. You cannot go from powerlessness to joy. You can't jump up the scale that quickly and hold on to the vibration. Yes, maybe something happens in your reality where you're not feeling happy and something does make you happy really fast, but you're not vibrationally at that level consistently. So you can't bring things into your life and have them stick. But this is actually a good thing. When you realize that you can't jump up the emotional scale like from 0 to 100, it's actually such a blessing because when you learn how to raise yourself up the scale, you can hold that frequency and then you can actually manifest those things in your life and hold on to them. So, how do you do this? If you are feeling depressed and sad, and I know this because when I first started studying the law of attraction, I had a lot of trauma to deal with. I had not done any shadow work. I knew that I wanted things. I could manifest little things, but I had so much I had depression basically, and it wasn't until I took plant medicine that that cleared that out, but that's another story. When I first learned about the law of attraction, I was in and out of the lower scales based on trauma I'd had in my life, based on things I was focusing on, how things were not working in my life. The more I focused on them, the lower down the scale I went. But I thought that I needed to go from like powerlessness and depression to euphoria in order to create what I wanted because the things that I wanted to manifest were on the higher scale, which the things we want to manifest are on the higher scale. But it wasn't until recently that I've actually seen in my life why the law of attraction seemingly wasn't working for me before. Obviously, though, it was working for me, it was just giving me more of what I didn't want. I learned that in order to jump vibrationally, in order to raise your vibrational frequency, you have to do it incrementally. Meaning, if you're in powerlessness and depression, You need to reach for anger. Anger is actually a higher vibration than depression. Think about it. When you're angry, you are actually more inclined to take action. You are more vocal. You're not just sitting around. People might not like being around you, but it's actually higher up the scale. Then there's things that are higher up the scale than that. Here's my Abraham Hicks scale. So, example, if when you're feeling powerless, you actually want to reach for thoughts of like guilt or insecurity because you can't jump up this high and sustain it. It's not possible to bring yourself up the scale that quickly. You want to get into guilt, and then when you feel guilty for a while, you want to get into anger and rage. Then you want to start to worry. And basically, when you move yourself up the scale, you start to sustain each vibrational frequency, you hold on to it, and you start moving up the scale, and the scale will actually bring you up. And that's actually how you get to the good feeling emotions, is by climbing up the scale slowly and reaching for thoughts that feel better, reaching for beliefs that feel better. Start to tell a different story about your life that gives you some sort of relief, and your reality starts to reflect back those bigger manifestations, those better feeling manifestations, a better life. Because the law of attraction is always working. It is always reflecting us back to us what we believe about reality and ourselves and what vibration we are emitting. Number three, your vibration is louder than words. Doing a bunch of affirmations over and over is not going to fix anything if you don't feel them. Actually, continuing to affirm things that you do not feel are true and do not believe to be true can lower your vibration because it's reminding you more of what you don't want. And the law of attraction is going to give you more of what you don't want. Like in step two, moving yourself up the scale, it's actually better to have bridge affirmations if you're into affirmations. I don't find them as a tool that I really like, but you can affirm yourself up the scale to tell yourself you're willing to believe that something is possible or affirm that things are getting better for you. Maybe not that they are as good as they could possibly be, but you need to find bridges to bridge yourself up from what you actually believe and what you want to believe. Affirmations are just like moving yourself up the scale. You can't go from 0 to 100, believe it, and have it show up in your reality. One of the tools that I prefer is actually EFT. It's this thing that you tap on your face and your body. Look up Brad Yates on YouTube. He has amazing EFT videos. But the thing about EFT is you are affirming things in a way because you start by talking about how you actually feel and actually speaking about how you feel so you can see where you are according to the law of attraction can help you bridge your way up because you start talking about how you feel and you're tapping on these points and then you start to find thoughts that feel better. You start to find words that feel better. You start to talk yourself up the scale. You start to talk more about possibility. And before you know it, you're actually saying you begin to affirm things that you want to be true in your reality. And you actually start to believe them when you're doing EFT. So EFT is an amazing tool for this. But when you're just going around saying what you want all the time and you're not believing it and you're not feeling it and you feel bad, you're going to make yourself feel worse and you're not going to attract what you say. You're going to attract how you feel. Number four, breakdowns often come before breakthroughs, but not in the way that you think. This isn't that everything has to fall apart. I don't believe that everything has to fall apart. Sometimes you are tested by the universe. That's a whole nother video, but that does not always happen in manifestation. You do not have to have your life fall apart. When things do fall apart or leave you, it's because they're not a vibrational match for you anymore. This is a lot of the time why people on a spiritual awakening will lose friends or want to break up with someone or want to quit their job. That's because they're not a vibrational match. So things might fall out of your life when you start to raise yourself up the scale. So yes, things might fall out of your life when you start to raise yourself up the scale, and anything that does, let it go. It's not a vibrational match to the new you. Those things, people, places, objects, environments were only in your reality because you were a vibrational match to them. And when you start to raise your vibration, you're not always in sync with people anymore. You're not always in sync with things anymore. You're not in sync with environments. You have raised your vibration, and so you are going to be a magnet for new things in your life. And anything you let go of, I promise you, the universe is going to replace it with something like 100 times better. But what I'm talking about breakdowns in this instance is when you actually totally cry or have a meltdown. Sometimes we've wanted something so bad and we're so aware that we don't have it and we think we're doing the law of attraction work, but all we're doing is attracting more of what we don't want. And we get to a point where we're forced to surrender, where we have a breakdown. We might scream at the universe. We don't understand why it's not happening. We have an emotional breakdown and we actually have a total release and we somehow let it go energetically. And that often happens right before your manifestation comes through because you've actually let go of the struggle. You've let go of the resistance. Struggle is not going to bring you what you want. The vibration of struggle cannot bring you your manifestation. So when you have a breakdown, that's when it comes through. The two main things that this happened for me was my second big TV job. I remember having the audition and I had been going on a lot of auditions and was just so frustrated, and I felt that this part was supposed to be mine, and I don't know, I got really upset. I, like, cleaned my whole house, was also an energetic process, and I just, like, cried on my floor because I was just so tired of, like, going on all these auditions and wanting it so bad, and I just let it go, like, if this is not for me, it's not for me, and then I got the call the next day that I got it, and it was, like, so much fun. And then another time is right before I manifested my husband. We reconnected. We didn't talk for 10 days, and I kind of was like, gave up. And I'm like, I guess this isn't what I thought it was supposed to be. I went to the beach. I kind of let it go. I energetically let him go. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm gonna have to manifest somebody else. And then he called me or he texted me that day. And since then, we've been together ever since. But a lot of times you need to release energetically because you've been holding on so much. And what you're holding on to is really you're holding on to the resistance. And in order to attract what you want, you gotta let go of resistance. Number 5, excitement is a cheat code, and you probably if you think back, you can remember this as being a kid. When we're kids, we actually know how the universe works. You know how kids are, like, really imaginative and they also believe they can have everything they want. They don't really believe in scarcity, usually, unless you've had, like, a lot of trauma, but kids kind of believe that anything's possible, and they forgive easily, and they do the crying release thing, like, they get upset about something, they cry, they let it go, they're back to having fun. But when you're a kid, excitement is actually a magnet. You're gonna be when you follow your excitement, not only are you attracting more things that feel like that, but the universe is guiding you towards those things. It's guiding you towards your manifestations. It's guiding you towards the next steps. Often when we're manifesting, we do have to take aligned action, but you have to pay attention to the nudges from the universe. Aligned action is like following what feels good to you because what you want feels good. You want to attract more of what feels good. But I remember being a kid and being really magnetic and being so excited by life. And like, I was very magnetic as a kid. And then I feel that I things came up where either it was friends or family that were bitter about life or had, maybe they weren't living in their authenticity. I felt that I was hurting them by being excited and I started to dim my excitement. And when I look back on those years, I was not as magnetic because I wasn't letting my excitement lead me. When you're excited, especially when you're a generator in human design, but whatever human design type you are, you following your excitement is going to attract more things on that vibration. What you are feeling is what you are attracting in your reality. You are literally a magnet attracting things to you. And you can attract things on the lower scale, you can attract things on the higher scale. You can attract what you don't want, or you can attract what you do want. It's what you are focusing on and what you are believing about reality. We cannot manifest outside of what we believe to be possible. Or if we do, we cannot hold on to it. So, being excited, finding things to make yourself excited just to get in that frequency is great. One of my favorite things to do, meditation is obviously amazing for like raising your frequency, but sometimes you can't meditate or you don't want to meditate or your mind is going or you already meditated in the morning and you need something else to do. One of my favorite things to do is dance. I have a playlist curated for different manifestations. I've done this with manifestations. I did this to manifest my husband and my dream home, and I've done this for career. Get a playlist of songs that just make you feel like that reality. You don't even have to visualize it. You can, because if you're visualizing something that you don't believe in, sometimes that can actually not help you. But get a playlist of songs that make you feel like, I'm saying reality because I believe in quantum jumping, but that make you feel like what that manifestation is going to feel like. And you don't even have to get that specific about it, like who it's gonna be or where it's gonna come from, but just 3 minutes of dancing around your house to a song that feels like what you're manifesting instantly will raise your vibration. And I do this when I'm feeling lower on the vibrational scale and I just need to get out of a funk, or I can't get myself to take this action that I know is aligned, but I'm feeling resistant. I will put on, like, sometimes 3 minutes is all I need. It's just dancing around, feeling like I live in that reality. My vibration is raised, and it will create magical miracles for you. The universe does not care where you've been, it only cares where you're going and where you are in vibrational proximity to the thing that you want. You can't leap up the emotional scale overnight. You need to do it incrementally in order to sustain the vibration. Your vibration is what matters, not your words. Breakdowns often precede breakthroughs, but not in the negative way you're thinking. They're just about releasing resistance, and follow your excitement. Excitement is the cheat code to manifesting everything you want. Much love.